everybody. Welcome back to the Glory Glory Man United podcast. I'm your host, as always, Kyle Quinn, and joining me on this glorious Sunday evening is Brushy. How's it going, mate?
Fantastic, Carl. Fantastic. 3 wins on the bounce. I think we only managed that one time under Ruben Amorim, and Carrick's done it in his first 3 games.
Yeah, fantastic. And, on the 90th minute, it didn't look like we were going to get it. It looked as if we were going to drop points to one of those non-big teams again in the Premier League. But United came up with a Fergie time winner.
Yeah, the
And
magic of Fergie. I mean, he was in the audience as well watching. Oh, it was fantastic. What a finish as well by Sesko.
yeah, it wasn't just a fantastic finish, but the assist as well. I loved how Bruno
Hmm.
fooled his marker by pretending that he was going to take a touch and then just let the ball run. And then the cross was inch perfect for Sesko, who dropped back, turned, and lashed it into the corner of the net. No goalkeeper saving that. And then the trademark celebration. It's the type of goal that we all dream of scoring as Manchester United fans in front of the
Yeah,
Stretford End.
absolutely. It gave me flashback to the Kiko Makeda one. The
Yeah,
turn and the finish, the no look finish. We were spoiled by the quality of assists as well. You mentioned Bruno's one there. Casemiro's no look pass was disgusting. How good was that?
yeah, absolutely top class. And Mateus Cunha's finish. There's
Yeah,
no goalkeeper saving that either.
he's finally found and hit form and at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. I have been critical of him at times, but he's
Yeah,
really delivering the goods at the moment, Mateus Cunha.
I'll tell you what,
Um,
mate. I'm starting to think it was just Ruben.
you could be right, you could be right.
Like they all seem to be playing with a smile on their face. They're playing for each other, and also like we discussed how criminally underused Kobe was. And look at him over these last couple of games. Like, why the hell were we not using him first half of the season?
Yeah, because that particular manager wanted to play a midfield too and felt that Menu and Bruno didn't provide enough balance. But the problem was that system just didn't fit at
Yeah,
all.
it's just the system that just needed changing. Look at him, all full of confidence now. Um, Maguire, oh, the lunge. I expected better from him. Yeah, there was no need for it either, actually, because Lemens had it covered. He made some cracking saves today.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, good save by Lemens. That's that attack dealt with, and then the penalty was just given. And but to be honest, um, Jimenez had got a shot away before Maguire made the lunge. So
Yeah.
should that have been a penalty? As soon as it was given by the on-field ref, though, I knew they weren't going
Hmm.
to overturn it. But you see, if the on-field ref had not given a penalty there, the excuse from the PGMOL would have been that, oh, Jimenez already got a shot away, so it's not a
Yeah.
penalty.
Yeah. I thought it was very strange. And then yeah, that's why it was so late as well. I just thought, oh, Maguire didn't really need to lunge in the way he did.
Do you know what it is
Um,
there?
mm,
What happened was it's another ball in behind. Maguire's too slow,
yeah,
and
yeah,
he's making a
he's too
desperate
slow
lunge.
now. He's getting older, and so yeah, he's another one. He could probably depart in the summer. His contract's coming to a close. I tell you what, though, I'd love to have kept Casemiro for another year if he was willing to take a wage cut. But he's announced he's leaving as well, hasn't he?
Yep, that's formalised now. He's
Yeah.
definitely leaving in the summer. But yeah, fair play to him. You what competition we qualify for next season
Hmm.
has no bearing on his career, but he's still giving us all to make sure that we get
No,
into the Champions League
absolutely.
next
Yeah,
season.
absolutely. I think this is our commentator said this was his highest scoring season as well. 5 Premier League goals.
Didn't he get seven in all comps in his first season though? So he's still got
Yeah,
a
yeah.
couple
Also
more
in the
to.
Premier League, they did specify in Prem, so highest
Yeah,
total in Prem. But at his
yeah,
age, well, that's it's a very good return there. And we still got what 14 games to go.
yeah. Fantastic. It was all about the Brazilians today. I think
Yeah.
Cunha and Casemiro were both involved in the first two goals.
Hmm.
Cunha's direct running is what led to the foul that was, you know, initially given as a penalty and then given as a free kick outside the
Yeah.
area. And I couldn't believe. Samuel Lockhart said it was a debatable award of free kick to United. Debatable. He
Mm,
was pulling his jersey
hmm
right over his shoulder like this here. You're like, come on, how is that debatable?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? So, yeah,
Uh,
don't really understand that one.
But a perfect free kick from Bruno to the back post, and Casemiro just
Hmm
caught it right on his forehead and buried it across goal. Um, and we've come accustomed to seeing that from Casemiro. He's so good in the air, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's brilliant. But
and
yeah, no. Late on, I did think we'd fluffed it though, through no fault of our own, really, because the pen, yeah, that was mad. And then Kevin's finish. Oh my days, you won't see many strikes better than that at Old Trafford. But then, yeah, the resilience, the belief that this team have, they just didn't give up.
Yeah, just on Kevin's strike, as good as goal as it was,
Mm.
I felt as if Ugarte, it was embarrassing in that situation. He couldn't even get close enough to close him down. It was a
Yeah, yeah.
desperate lunge to try and block the shot and got nowhere near it, really.
Hmm
I know there was a lovely 1-2 in there. It took kind of Mazrahi and Ahmad out of the game, but Ugarte just doesn't read the game well enough. Um, I bet you Kevin might not even get that shot away if Casemiro's in there reading the
hmm
game more. Whereas Ugarte doesn't read the game as well and has to make desperate lunges like that, um, and got nowhere near it. And I felt, even in when we were at 3-2 up, Ugarte had an opportunity to foul someone on the halfway line, and he just tried to win the ball, and and didn't do so. Just take him down, take the card. We're talking here the 98th minute here. Just take the card. You see when you're defending the lead and it's the 98th or 99th minute, you
hmm
just foul someone on the halfway line. You just take them down.
yeah. Yeah, I couldn't quite believe it initially when they said there's 9 minutes of added time. But then when Fulham scored, I was like, oh, thank goodness, there's 9 minutes.
Yeah, because we scored pretty much early on in the added time, didn't we? And then we had to hold
Yeah,
on for
yeah,
quite a while.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but I have to mention a stat. That is the 24th goal we conceded this season while Ugarte has been on the pitch.
That's insane.
Given that he hasn't played that many minutes really in total,
Yeah,
yeah, he's just a player that just doesn't belong at this level. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
he's gone in the summer and his time's done.
Yeah, it's absolutely vital that United sign two midfielders in the summer, not just because
Yep,
we need more quality, but because we're probably going to be in Europe next season and we're going
yep,
to be playing a lot more games.
yep.
So
You
we
need
are
a
going to need
beefier
depth
squad.
in that
Yeah, yeah,
midfield.
absolutely. Need a beefy squad.
Mhm. Yeah. Uh, Another thing that I loved about the winning goal was that Xerxes, who's not been getting really any minutes under Carrick,
Yeah,
look how much he celebrated with Sesko after he
yeah,
scored.
yeah.
I love seeing that kind of camaraderie between teammates. Lenny Yarrow as well, of course, he hasn't really played under Carrick.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but that shows unity, the fact that they're all rooting for each other, you know? It's not just about competition for positions. So yeah, you love to see that.
Yeah, it was absolutely delightful. I was starting to get a bit concerned for Sesko that he
Yeah.
hasn't started a game under Carrick and didn't
hmm
start again today. And it seemed as if Carrick just prefers having Mbeumo as a number 9, but
hmm
he came off the bench after 75 minutes and had a massive impact on the game. He nearly scored right out with his first touch, that cross from Ahmad,
Yeah,
and the
so
header.
unlucky there. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, for me, it makes all the difference when you play with a proper nine. I always prefer to play with a proper nine.
I 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I think there's a time and a place for
hmm
for a Mbeumo at number 9 when you're
Yeah.
playing like big teams, for example. But I
hmm
always prefer to have
Yeah.
an out and out number 9 up front.
Yeah, someone in the box that could just occupy defenders and cause problems, and he was a handful for them.
Yeah, because sometimes when United are playing with a false 9, there's nobody in the middle,
No,
and
yeah, and
it's
then you saw it
frustrating.
with Abumo as well. He likes to drift out wide.
Yes, he does. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
obvious at, at certain points in the game. But it's good to have options, isn't it? It's fantastic.
hmm Yeah, it's
You know,
fantastic. Yeah.
Dorgu unfortunately is apparently out for 10 weeks,
Yeah.
um, with the hamstring injury that he sustained against Arsenal. Now he's a very young guy, so sometimes young players, their injuries heal quicker. So hopefully it won't be as long as 10 weeks. Because he was the man of the moment really, and then it's just these things just tend to. I know probably happens to most teams, but it just feels as if United, anytime a player's in form, he gets injured. uh, yeah, because we'd have been questioning him for 11 months, really, and thinking, not sure this guy
Yeah.
really belongs at this level. But
Hmm.
in the last month or so, he's been fantastic, and then he ends up
Yeah, he's doing
picking up the.
phenomenal. Just need to play him further forward. Um, I'm hoping it's somewhat of a blessing in disguise as well because we're a bit indifferent on Cunha, and it looked like he's out of form. He should be dropped to the bench, and this has really forced him to kick up a gear. So yeah.
Yeah, that was brilliant management by Michael Carrick.
Hmm.
Not starting Cunha in those first two games, and then
Yep.
allowing him to have an impact from the bench, and he delivered on that, and
Yep.
now he's got his rewards by starting today, and he
Hmm.
scored when he started. So the management of Kuna in the last three games has been perfect from the manager.
Yeah.
Mm, he basically threw down the gauntlet to him. You know,
Hmm.
prove to me that you're worthy of a place in the starting 11, and he has done that. Because you don't want players thinking that they're guaranteed to start just because they're a fancy new signing. And
Absolutely not.
so,
Everybody needs to fight for it, and that's what they're doing right now.
yeah, so it's great, isn't it, to see our forward players scoring
Yeah.
goals? Because wasn't that the biggest problem last season, that we weren't
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
any goals from our
And
forward
then
players?
this season we've got we're scoring goals, but we keep conceding.
Yep, there definitely are issues at the back.
Hmm.
Maguire obviously is good when we're sitting deep, but if the ball's playing behind,
Yep.
as you've seen today, that
Yeah.
can be a
Yeah.
problem for Harry. Um, Diogo Dallo,
Hmm.
about him ad nauseum. He's just not a good one-on-one defender, and
No.
doesn't he loves to get forward and kind of defending the secondary to him. I even noticed today, even in the first half, you see against City and Arsenal,
Hmm.
Dallo he tucks in a lot. I don't know why he's been coached to do that or not, but whenever the ball's out on our left hand side, Dallo tucks in, and then when the ball's played out to the other team's left winger, he makes his way out there. Now in the City and Arsenal games, he was bursting out to the left winger to close him down, stopping the crosses coming in. Today I noticed a wee bit of a drop off. He was standing off the left winger again, um, to me, not putting in the same effort, um, at least in the first half anyway. Uh, but I think he improved on that as the match went on. But I do think that Mizrahi should come in at right back eventually. I know he's been away in Afcon, and I know he missed the City game, and Arsenal game was his first game back after Afcon. He came on as a sub there, and he came on as a sub again today. But eventually, if we want to keep clean sheets, we need to be playing. I think Mazrahi he's a better defender, and I think technically he's a better player than Dallo as well. So he would be my first choice. If
Definitely. I'd play him as well. He's probably the best right back we have at the club at the moment.
Yeah, and he's rarely got the chance to play in a flat back four since
No.
during his time at the club. So and then no qualms with Martinez. Just Maguire, obviously, when you're in behind,
Hmm.
it can be an issue, and no problems having Maguire in the team when we're sitting deep. But today is obviously not one of those days. Um, on left back, Shaw, I think Shaw's mobility is becoming a problem. Uh,
Yep.
you, you saw this in the Burnley game when Mason Mount played a ball over the top, and Shaw didn't quite have the pace or the mobility to control the ball and score or provide an assist. It was a late chance, and Mount was so frustrated that Shaw couldn't
Yep.
control the beautiful ball he played. Today we saw it again. There was another ball played in to Shaw, and he just couldn't reach it. He's just,
Yeah, the
he,
burners are gone. But his body won't allow him to do what he needs to do, unfortunately.
yeah. And given that we now view Dorgu as more of a winger, do you
Hmm.
think we need to sign a left back in the summer, Brush?
We do indeed.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I think that's something we need to look at
Yeah.
as well.
Obviously, we know the midfield surgery is coming, and that's going to be huge. But the other areas we need to look at, yeah, definitely left back, possibly a centre back as well. Depends if they're going to give Maguire an extension.
Yeah, I think Maguire is going to have to agree to reduced wages to
Hmm.
stay on. Um, uh, so I think that he will, because he's going to have a choice between maybe playing for someone like West Ham or playing for
Yeah.
United on a reduced wage. And we already know that he's chosen to stay at United over West Ham
Hmm.
already. Um, and I think
And at
he
this
would.
point in
I
his
think
career, like he's settled now, isn't he? So would he want to go
yeah,
somewhere just to be a
and
starter? I don't know.
he's anyone who's interested in him is going to be a step down from Man United. So I
Yeah.
think that he will stay. If they can come
And he'll
to
still get plenty of games as well, especially if we're in Europe, then there's going to be a lot of games. So there will be rotation and maybe
yep,
there'll be enough games to keep him satisfied.
yeah, and you can see him coming in most of the big games too. Because
Yeah.
yeah, you if you think like the win at Anfield, the win at the Emirates, the win over City at Old Trafford, he's played in all of those and played an important role in them too. Got man of the match at the Emirates, of course. Casemiro getting the official man of the match again today,
Yeah.
probably deserved. But Bruno Fernandes is just, how loyal is that guy? And every time when he puts in one of those performances, I'm thinking to
Hmm.
myself, this guy could play for anyone in Europe. He should be playing in the Champions League every single season. That's how good he
Nah,
is.
he should be.
Yet he's
He
here.
absolutely should be. Another two assists to add to his collection as well. It's crazy.
Yep, that's now 202 goal contributions in 313 appearances.
Yeah, it's just a shame that the era that he ended up at United. Otherwise you'd have a couple more trophies.
Mhm. Yeah, then unfortunately for him, he's going to be like the Brian Robson of this era.
Hmm.
But you know, t- as I've said before, in the last couple of seasons of Brian Robson's United career, he won the Premier League title. Let's hope Bruno can achieve that. But I tell you what, if we can get top class midfielders in the summer and qualifying for the Champions League
Hmm.
will help us back as we've talked about already today. Then we're getting closer because I think our attack is very potent. Um,
Definitely. And there seems to be a
yeah,
bit of
yeah,
unrest as well with the teams around us. So we need to capitalize on all
mm,
of that.
yeah. I think City are very unconvincing. As I said to you offer that
Yeah.
Donnarumma is busy in every game, and that's not
Yeah.
a
And
that's
it
not a
seems
sign
to
of a
be
team.
that now, I don't want to say the aura's gone around Pep, but it seems to be now that they're just spending money to try and fix problems.
Yeah, City throwing money at it. You serious? That's very unusual for them. Um, they're usually broke. Um,
Yeah, I think they've signed basically a new 11 from last January to this January, and some of them have just not worked out and whatnot. But yeah, they just keep throwing money at it.
yeah, I don't think Mark Guehi alone is going to fix their back four. Like,
No,
it's very unconvincing. And then Aston Villa lost at home to 10-man Brentford today.
yeah,
Amazing result. They Tommy Abraham had a goal chalked off because the ball went out of play in the build up to it. Um, I have to say that the referees are more controversial decisions this weekend, but if we can focus on the United game, yeah, in the build up to Fulham's second goal, a throw in was incorrectly given to Fulham. It should have been given to United. Now, we seen a Fulham goal disallowed for offside and looked as if like his wrist bone or something was offside or
hmm,
something ridiculous like that. Yet, if they're going to be hyper accurate, then they need to be disallowing goals when the throw-in's been given the wrong way. You can't be hyper accurate when it comes to offsides and not be hyper accurate when it comes to factual stuff like
yeah, yeah.
throw-ins and corners.
Especially when that mistake leads to conceding a goal.
I know, and it happens time and time again.
Yeah,
If we're yeah, there's times where um, remember against Forest where Casemiro scored from a corner and it was inconclusive whether that ball had went out for a corner or not. and Forest were very unhappy about it. These things, if these are the small decisions that can lead to goals that they often get wrong. You know, on Sky Sports on a Monday morning, they do a show called Ref Watch, and they mainly focus on big decisions like red cards and penalties. But these
Hmm.
referees don't even get the small decisions right, like whose throwing it should be, and that can
Yeah,
lead
it's
to a goal as
insane.
well.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, was not particularly impressed with some of the decisions that I've saw this weekend from referees, but then that's just the
No.
same story every weekend. I think it's definitely the weakest bunch of referees that I've seen in the Premier League era in England.
Hmm.
But I have to say though, I was impressed by the City Wolves game. It was last week or the week before. There was a brand new refereeing that match,
Yep.
and he gave a decision which I felt was correct. The more senior VAR, I think it was Darren England, t- recommended a review. Um, but he went and looked at the screen and decided to stick with his initial decision. And I was very impressed with
Hmm.
not just that, in my opinion, he got the decision right, but the fact that on his debut in the Premier League as a referee, he ignored the advice from the more senior ref, and I thought that's really ballsy. I want to see more
Yeah.
of this referee because the PGMOL need new blood and they need good referees, and he
No,
just might
definitely.
be.
That's the only way it's going to improve. That's the only way it's going to improve. They can't just protect the ones that they, the established ones. We need to give these new guys a chance to come in and, yeah, set pace.
Yeah, 100%. They're seriously lacking in talent.
Hmm.
The PGMOL at the moment now. So Senna Lamans, another competent display. Couldn't say that he was at fault for the goals. He had no chance
No.
really with Cavan's strike. It was a by Jimenez, to be fair, and yeah, Hammond Lemens did guess right, and I was saying just before the penalty had been taken that he's a good record of saving
It,
penalties in
it
Belgium.
was a great pen though, and plus I don't think Raul Jimenez has missed a penalty in the Premier League. I think he's 12 for 12.
Yeah, well, that speaks for itself. But
Hmm.
uh, had it not been right into the roof of the net, if he went
Yeah,
low, Lemens probably would have saved it.
definitely. It's
So
quite incredible as well because it wasn't a long run up either. So how he got that kind of lift on it, I don't know.
it was one of those stumbling Ronaldo type run ups, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. To generate that kind of power though, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I was absolutely impressed with Amadialo's work rate today as well. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. He was causing all kinds of problems on that right hand side. Just the way he bobs and weaves in and out as well. It just causes defenders issues.
yeah. And when Fulham are building up from the back,
Hmm.
and their left back picks up the ball on the halfway line, he's looking around him to see who to pick out, and then Diallo just comes in from behind him and nicks it off him. Like,
Yeah.
he does that a lot in games where the defenders don't see him coming.
Hmm.
He puts
It gives us that bit of versatility going forward as well because we know he can play on both flanks. And then with Mbeumo, like if you play him up front, he switches as well. He can drift out to wide. Cunha can come in centre, so it's kind of good. It keeps the opposition guessing. You don't really know who to pick up.
yeah, it's very fluid, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, um, Mason Mount missed out today. Failed a late fitness test, I believe, unfortunately.
Mm.
But it meant that Shea Lacey was back on the bench. Definitely want to see more of him. I've been very impressed anytime
Yeah.
I've seen him. He's a very exciting young player. I know maybe at some stage this season we might see a JJ Gabriel's appearance, but that was probably more
He's
likely if we were
he's
in the
very young,
cups.
isn't he? How old is he? Like 15, 14 or something?
Yeah, but he is
Yeah.
ridiculously good.
Yeah. I heard he's playing with the under 18s, which is a mad achievement for someone his age. But then again, I say that. I mean, I think Arsenal gave Max Dowman a debut, didn't they? And he's like 15.
That's right. And then wasn't Yamal a Barcelona first team player at 16?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, he's generational, isn't he? It's crazy.
He scored an overhead last week, so he did.
Yeah. Yeah. How can you be one of the best players on the planet at 18? It's madness.
Yeah, unreal. Rashford's amongst the goals for Barcelona lately.
Hmm.
But there were some rumours that Carrick wants to bring Rashford back. What do you
Mm.
think about that one, Brush?
Uh, it wouldn't be the end of the world because if we play this kind of football on the left hand side, he can, he's got something about him, Marcus. Obviously, it's the wages that I had a contentious issue with mainly, and it's all a bit hit and miss, isn't it? I think I'd prefer if he moved on, but I wouldn't be totally mad if he came back.
One thing that I would be afraid of if he came back is his
Mm,
lack of work rate. And like we've
yeah.
seen how hard Mbeumo, Kuna,
Hmm.
and Ahmad work. Rashford, the crowd were getting on his back due to his lack of
Yeah.
work rate and just
I'm
playing
not
in.
sure he would want to come back either, to be honest. I think he's loving life out there, and that change of scenery, change of league is done in the world of good without the same scope from the media on him as well.
Yeah. Mhm. Although he is just mainly a substitute, as we had
Yeah.
predicted even a year
Hmm.
ago when he was first linked with Barcelona. We were thinking Yamal, Rafinha and Lewandowski, he's not going to be playing regular football. He isn't, but he seems content with the bench role and
Hmm.
starting the odd game. And yeah, I'm sure it's a great lifestyle living out there, and he probably wants to stay on. The word is that they want to keep him. I think Fabrizio had said that.
Yeah.
But I don't like this typical Barcelona cheapskates where they won't even pay the 30 million euro um
Yeah. Which in
clause.
today's market is pretty good value for money for Rashford.
They want to give us a player instead that we don't even
Yeah.
want. Nah, you're all right. Just pay the money.
Yeah.
You know.
Mind you, do you know what? The player that they've offered, if there's any truth in that, I like the look of him, that Casado. He's got something about him. Midfielder as well.
Mm, we shall see. But they lost a young midfielder to PSG in this window, I believe. Mm, they weren't expecting that. You know, it's, they have a certain rule in Spain where you can't sign a professional contract until you're 18 or something,
Mm,
and clubs from abroad are able to take advantage of that. It's been
yeah.
happening for years and years. We've seen it with
Yeah,
happened with
yeah.
Fabregas and
Fabregas.
Piqué.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And also, I think because of the level of competition at La Masia as well, the kids are more willing to go risk it elsewhere.
Yeah, and yeah, I hear what you're saying about that. Kid maybe having talent, but I would rather we get the money and then decide on our own signings. That would be a bit of a risky move and to take on a Barcelona, cast off. I would
I
probably
think the only risk would be that if he develops, then in a couple of years' time, he'll probably want to go back.
that too, yeah, because we've seen
Yeah,
that with
because they're
Gerard
yeah,
Piqué.
yeah, PK Fabregas as well. So they all
Mm,
tend to want to go back at some point.
yeah, because if you're born in Catalonia and then you go play football in Manchester, that's going to be a huge fucking
Hmm.
culture shock and weather
Yeah,
shock.
definitely.
Um, yeah, but yeah, if we've been actually scouting this fella and think that he's good,
Mhm.
then fair enough. But if he's just someone that Barcelona want to throw at us to avoid paying us
Yeah,
money,
no,
then no.
it's got to be from the club, in it. They're gonna have to want him. That's the only scenario in which it makes sense. Like you say, if they're just throwing players in because they want to reduce the fee they pay, then that's ridiculous. But yeah, no, he's actually quite good. But again, he's very young, so if he were to come in, you couldn't just rely on him. He would have to be a bench option.
Now,
You still
if they
need to
want to
go
throw,
get. Hmm?
yeah, if they want to throw in Frankie De Jong, then it might be a deal.
Now that would be interesting, but yeah, I know he's on astronomical wages, isn't he? Hmm.
Yeah, and we already know that him and his wife doesn't want to move to Manchester.
No,
Yeah,
no,
so we'll have to park that one.
yeah.
Um, so despite missing Patrick Dorgu, the man of the moment. We won once again. Or to be honest, after 90 plus one, I was thinking, oh no, here we go
Hmm.
again. We're going to drop points to another team outside of the top six. But Carrick has been able to channel his inner Fergie and
Yep.
get us over the line.
And I'll tell you
Yeah,
what, we're
that
gonna
was
have
a real.
to visit that conversation again. I think the last time we did this, a guy in the comments mentioned and asked us if we would keep Carrick, and if he keeps these wins up, it's gonna become a thing.
Yeah, for sure. If Carrick gets us into the Champions League, I wouldn't be against it because
Mm,
the last thing that I would want would be we do exceptionally well under Carrick, we qualify for the Champions League, then another fancy European coach comes in with his fancy philosophy, starts off really badly, and then the fans will be saying, "Why didn't we give Carrick the job?"
yeah,
So we can't just decide not to give Carrick the job because
it's the
Solskjaer
PTSD
didn't
of Ollie, isn't
win.
it? But yeah, you have to
Yeah,
look at it differently. Yeah. For me personally, if the right manager was out there and like I'm talking the top of the top, then we must. But if those kind of targets aren't available, it wouldn't be the worst thing to keep Carrick on. You just have to be quite smart with the kind of contract you give him. It can't be too long.
yeah, 1 or 2 years I would say is
Yeah.
about right.
And then see how it goes. And then if it fizzles out, fine, you move on. And if not, and he impresses, then you build on it and you extend it.
Yeah,
I think
or you could.
Arteta at Arsenal, I think initially came in as just a coach, as the head coach, and then got the title of manager.
Mm, yeah, another thing you could do is you could you could put a clause in his contract to say that he can be sacked for just 1 million compensation or something. I know they did
Yeah.
that with David Moyes.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. I'd be really frustrated if, as I said, Carrick gets us into Europe, and then we change manager to a fancy European coach, and then
Hmm.
that goes badly. Um,
Yeah.
that'd be really annoying. Then we'd have to bring him back again.
Hmm.
So I would just,
I mean,
uh,
and in the modern game, you only get a couple years anyway, no matter who you are. So it's one of those where you might as well ride the wave, right?
yeah, and yeah, he shouldn't be denied the job just because Solskjaer didn't work out. That's not
Yeah.
fair. He's a
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
person completely, different credentials, you know, different personality, different
Mm.
ideas. Just because he's a former player of the club doesn't mean that he shouldn't get the permanent manager's job. That would
Yeah,
be.
definitely. And then listen, we've seen examples of it both ways. Vincent Company got Burnley relegated, and now look at the job he's doing at Bayern.
Yeah, definitely. And being Guardiola was the B team manager at
Hmm.
Barcelona. That was his only experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just fits, just
Yeah,
works.
yeah. Zidane with Real Madrid. He was managing the B team before that job.
Yeah, and yeah, and those examples of Guardiola and Zidane were that they were former players of those clubs as well.
Yeah.
They understood what it was like
Hmm.
to be a player at that club, and they understand the demands of style of football and all the rest. So Carrick knows what the United way is. That we have to play front foot football with wingers and dominating games and creating lots of chances. Playing young players from the academy. He understands that that's the United DNA, if you want to call it that,
Hmm.
and he understands the pressures of being a Man United player. So he knows how to. You see players. He knows how to man manage. He seems to be a good man manager. He has real
Yeah.
rapport with the players. You can see that on match day, and like if players are struggling with the pressures of playing for Man United,
Hmm.
he knows what it's like, so he can put an arm around the shoulder and give them a pep talk.
Absolutely. He's done it at the highest level. He's been to all the major finals. Um, the mentality in that group as well that he was a part of, that's something that he would pass on as well, I think.
Yeah, he's been there, done it, and bought the T-shirt. Um,
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying in recent weeks. You know, I just think that a former player at United maybe just might just be the right fit in terms of the managerial role. And these foreigners come in with their fancy philosophies that don't fit the Premier League or Manchester United and often don't work. Whereas a former player who understands the United way and understands the pressures of being a United player might just be a good fit if he's a good tactician and a good manager. And he's got a very shrewd and experienced number two there, and Steve Holland, who's been around the
Hmm.
block. And you know, not only as everybody knows, he was Gareth Southgate's assistant when he was England manager, and England didn't win anything, but they came very close on a number of occasions, which is far better than most of what England have been doing since 1966.
Hmm.
But more what's more impressive about Steve Holland is that he was the assistant to Roberto Di Matteo when Chelsea won the Champions League.
Yeah, he
I
worked with
think he,
Jose as well.
yes, he did, yeah. And Villas Boas, I think, too.
Hmm.
Benitez, was he assistant to Benitez as well? I think maybe that was at Chelsea, I think, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because he was interim at Chelsea for a little bit, wasn't he, Rafa Benitez?
yeah. And you might have seen Steve Holland doing a tactical breakdown of Chelsea's victory over Barcelona in 2012.
Hmm.
You might have seen that on YouTube. Yeah, it was very impressive and seems like a man who knows what he's talking about. So these tactics that we're seeing, a lot of that is probably coming from him. Um, and then you've Woodgate there, who was Carrick's assistant at Middlesbrough. Obviously, they must have a really good rapport. They're probably mates, and I'm not quite sure what Woodgate brings to the table. And then Johnny Evans, of course, he's probably a link between the, the current squad and the coaches, because he's been a player for United very recently,
Hmm.
and he's probably learning on the job. But obviously, Carrick feels that there's a role for him. I'm I know what Carrick and Holland, I know what their roles are. I'm not quite sure what Woodgate and Evans bring to the table, but I'm sure um, Carrick has them there for a reason. But yeah, if this coaching setup is bringing wins and entertainment to the Old Trafford crowd, then I don't see any reason why we should change it. You know, Carrick is a completely different guy to Solskjaer, has different qualities. You know, the thing is about Solskjaer, if he had been given the interim job again, Carrick would have been coming in anyway as his assistant.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they went directly to Carrick instead, and just suppose in a sense cut out the middleman.
Hmm.
Um, and Carrick apparently interviewed better, and I think the hierarchy felt as if Solskjaer had his chance. He had three years in charge, whereas Carrick only got 3 games previously.
Yeah.
So he's continued that fantastic run uh, over his two spells as caretaker manager, Carrick.
Hmm.
Although he's not actually known as the caretaker at the moment, he's actually his title is head coach.
Yeah.
He's just on a 6 month contract. But it's going very swimmingly so far, isn't it? Although
Hmm.
today we've seen there are issues with when at the back there are issues clearly. At fullback, and Maguire's pace is obviously an issue, but also whenever Casemiro is 34 this month, and when you have to take him off in certain games to give him rest, and you're giving Ugarte a cameo, yeah, can't even afford to do that because
No. So
so
yeah, see some of these problems we're gonna have to just bite the bullet till summer. It's not gonna get sorted until the summer, unfortunately.
yeah, because we were warned that yeah, we're not going to do any business in this window,
Hmm.
and so it's proved. It's only really been youngsters securing loans or permanent moves elsewhere. And I have to mention the fact that Harry Hamas has picked up a serious injury in training at Norwich, and he only just joined Norwich. That's really sad, isn't it? That
Hmm.
it seems as if he's going to be out for quite a long time, and that's really
Yeah, it's
unfortunate because he's
unfortunate.
been doing so
Yeah,
well
it's unfortunate. Yeah.
at Sheffield Wednesday. He was their best player,
Hmm.
and then he got a move to
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not a fan
Norwich.
of these mid-season moves to two different loans. It's happened before as well. I think with Ethan Laird, we loaned him out from one club to another after a good season. I just think it unsettles the player. Like I know the point is to sort of develop him a bit further and whatnot, but yeah, just give him the season.
Yeah, Toby Collier also went from West Brom to
Yeah.
Hull instead. Um, yeah, I think the idea is that they want the players, maybe if there's an
Hmm.
opportunity for them to play with a in a better team, then
Yeah.
they're going to give them that
I
chance.
tell you what, Collier, personally for me, I would have brought him back.
Yeah, because any appearance that he's made for United, he hasn't looked
Yeah.
out of place.
No, he hasn't. And then
You
obviously
know,
you've seen how Ugarte's struggling. I know he's a different sort of player, but we could do with numbers in midfield. I feel like he could have done a job for us if he was on the bench.
yeah, I think Collier would be a much better option than Ugarte.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly based on the Ugarte that we're seeing at the minute, just
Hmm.
looks miles off it. You know,
Oh, and then I was a bit gutted as well. I think Garner's signed a new contract at Everton.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. So that cheap option has deserted us now. We'll
Yeah,
not be
yeah.
able to.
Yeah, because he would
Yeah.
have counted as homegrown as well, so would have been an added bonus.
No, the top target is going to be is still Anderson, but I know that he's a top target for City as well. So it's
Hmm.
going to be interesting which team he chooses. Is he going to be like Mbeumo or is he going to be like Semenyo? That's
Yeah,
always
that's the thing. And then I think Liverpool are linked with Adam Walton, so there's going to be a lot of competition for the English midfielders.
yeah, 100%. If we might have to revisit the Carlos Baleba
Hmm.
transfer. Um, even people were saying that you know over 100 million is too high, but it might come down to 70 million in the summer. Even
Mm.
that's a steep fee like for
It's
a
a
young
huge
midfielder.
amount. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy. I know Ruben Neves is a free agent in the summer, and he's still only like 27,
28 now, isn't he? I think.
28. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. On a free, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, on a free, that's a perfect option to beef up your squad. I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. An argument can be made that we should sign three midfielders in the summer because,
Hmm.
especially if we're in Europe, you know, get your two main targets, and then maybe get someone on a free to beef up the squad. Yeah, like
Yeah, definitely.
a
Like
Neves.
like a Ruben Neves who's quite experienced and that, and still in his 20s.
Oh, Matthew Nugent, who's been on this show a couple of times, he pronounces it Ruben Neves. He that's the proper Portuguese.
That's probably the proper way to say it, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like Fernando Torres.
Yeah.
So player ratings time. Sana Lamans.
What's that? Sorry.
Sana Lamans. What does he get out of 10 for you, Brush?
He was solid today. Yeah, I can't really fault him for the goals. Um, I don't think any keeper would have done much better against the shots that he conceded. So I don't know. I'd give it a solid 7, 8. Am I being too generous?
Yeah, we'll go with the 7. Yeah, because the goals
7.
weren't his fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Really,
He
if you're
never.
giving 8, you need a clean sheet in it. Really.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, what's brilliant about him is that he does the fundamentals really well and never
Yep.
makes a really brutal you know mistake that leads to a goal. You know
Yeah.
that.
There's no obvious errors. There's no obvious errors. The only thing that I can sort of critique him about a little bit is I wish he'd come out more. He tends
Yeah.
to stick to his line.
Yeah. Yeah, but overall he's been a massive upgrade, hasn't he?
Oh, huge. Absolutely huge. With that other guy, we wouldn't be sat in fourth right now.
No chance would be 10th.
Yeah.
um so Diogo Dallo.
Uh, 6.
Yeah, I think he's probably been at least a 6 out of 10 in the last three
Yeah.
matches. But I think he's going to come under pressure for a position by Mazarahi now. I think
Yeah.
we're getting closer to.
Hmm.
We're just we're a Dallo mistake away from Mizrahi getting into the starting 11. I feel.
Yeah, definitely. And I think he's just building up fitness and stuff, isn't he? Since coming back from AFCON. So yeah, gonna start seeing more of him.
Yeah. So Harry Maguire unfortunately gave away that penalty, so
Hmm.
it's going to be marked down for that. But a five then, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't do
Uh,
too much wrong outside of that, but yeah, that's a big error
yeah.
that could have had big consequences had we not come back.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a desperate lunge because of his lack of pace, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Um, so Lissandro Martinez again, very very impressive
yeah.
defensively, and his line punching passes as well. But
Especially in the closing stages as well. Once we took the lead and we were trying to see the game out.
mhm,
Yeah, just his energy levels and just closing things down. It was brilliant.
yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, he was pivotal in the last few minutes of the game in
Yep.
seeing it out. So I'm going to say a Sabin for Martinez. Luke Shaw. Um, yeah, there was that another really frustrating moment where he couldn't get on the end of a ball because he just
Yeah.
doesn't have the legs anymore or the
Yeah,
mobility.
no, the body just doesn't do what the mind wants it to at this stage. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, but he was. mm, Yeah, he wasn't too bad. He didn't make any really bad
Nah.
mistakes at the back or anything, and he's usually quite
Yeah, over
solid.
the course of the season, I'd even go as far as to say he's been an unsung hero because he's quietly gone about having a good season overall. But yeah, we
Yeah,
need better.
and 24 starts is his best, and
Hmm.
24 starts in a row is by far the best run that he's had in the United team. So
Which
I
is
think
insane.
he's been helped by the fact we've had no European games.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's definitely played a part.
so I give him a 6 out of 10. Casemiro, this is goal and
Brilliant.
assist. Another fantastic header, brilliant assist for Mateus Cunha, and it's fantastic to hear the Casemiro chant again and again at Old Trafford,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah, no, the
very
ovation he got as well when he went off, it was great.
yeah, and his wife always brings the kids to the game, and they
Hmm.
they really they join in with the fans chanting
Hmm.
his name, and yeah, an 8 out of 10 for me. Um, Kobe Menu, what do you think, Brushy?
Yeah, no, I liked Kobe. I liked what I saw from him. The energy he gives us is different. For the life of me, I can't figure out why he wasn't used in the first half of the season. I'd give it about a 7 for Kobe.
Yeah, you know, if Amram stayed beyond the season, Kobe was gone. You
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
see him Ten Hag stayed any longer, Ahmad was gone too.
Hmm.
There just seems to
Yeah,
be
it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's crazy how those things work out. And then I remember we said at the time as well, like with Ruben, if he goes and we revert back to something more conventional, we might revisit the Garnacho thing. Um, attitude wise, I don't miss him at all, but he definitely is a handful at times, and he would have come in handy in this sort of formation.
um, some Chelsea fan was making a joke online that the Chelsea are going to pay United the penalty fee to send Garnacho back to Old Trafford. Sorry, lads, no receipt on this
Yeah,
one.
no refunds on that one. Ship has sailed.
Bruno Fernandes, just
Incredible stuff. Just a captain's performance.
yeah, uh, lovely ball in for Casemiro's goal, but even more
Yeah.
impressive was that assist for
Hmm.
Benjamin Sesko's winner.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
just how he fools the defender into thinking he's going to take a touch and
Hmm.
just lets the ball run past him, and
Yep.
then perfect ball into the middle. So Bruno Fernandes gets an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's
Very well deserved.
202, 202 goal contributions now out
Mm.
of 313 appearances, which is a phenomenal record. Just delivers again and again and again,
Listen,
and
that's the kind of record that strikers would be proud of.
yeah, 100%. And we need to be very, very careful what we wish for. I know me and you are probably guilty of wanting to sell him for 100 million in the summer, but we need to be careful what we wish for because
Yeah, yeah.
how do
Well,
you replace
it's
that?
what you can't replace that. You don't replace that. It's one of those where it's the inevitable, isn't it? So from a business point of view, with his age getting up there, it makes sense because you're going to have to cut ties at some point. So it's about trying to get something back whilst you still can. I've heard rumors as well that apparently he's willing to start an extension, but you know the rumors flying around and that he wants like 400 grand a week or something. I don't know how
He can,
truthful that is.
he can have it.
It'll totally crumble what they've been trying to do with you
I
know,
know.
keeping wages low. But yeah, he's been the best player by a country mile, hasn't
Yeah, I know. The best signing of the post Ferguson era by country mile as well.
he? Yeah,
No, and Dara here says Bruno is 8 more assists off the Premier League record, so just eight
yeah,
more for
yeah.
the record.
Thierry Henry's record. Yeah, we need
Mm.
that. That would be nice.
Doesn't Giggs have 162 assists or something? Maybe
Oh,
that's in
and
all comps.
that's in all comps. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. This one is
yeah.
the Premier League single season record. I think it's Thierry Henry's when he got 20 assists.
Right. Yeah. Tell you what, he's yeah, 8 assists is between now and
Yeah,
the end of the season. That's doable
that's doable. Yeah, 14 games, he could do it. We know he's going to start every single one.
if he's fit. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and we're free flowing now as well in attack, so we're scoring goals for fun. So yeah, he's going to be in the mix.
Yeah. Another important point is that we're getting the best out of him because he's playing closer to the goal.
Because
And
he's
that and
yeah, yeah. Who would have known? Who knew? Who knew it was
yeah,
silly to to
we're
play your
playing
best 10 as a DM?
we're playing square pegs and square holes. Imagine that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah. Imagine that.
So Amad Diallo, what does he get? Yeah, I thought he was really good today.
Yeah, I thought he was causing all kinds of problems as well. Probably a 7 for him.
Yeah, I think that's about right. It was a good performance without having a match-winning contribution. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Well, and it just goes to show you don't always have to have that kind of return in order to have a good performance.
yeah, that's true. Mateus Cunha, um, yeah, fantastic finish. What a finish that
Yeah,
was! Absolutely
yeah, yeah.
lashed it into the roof of the net.
Composed.
And he really is delivering the goods at the moment. We
Yeah.
talked about before that it was you that mentioned it that he scores in bursts, and we're seeing
Yeah.
that at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah. Thankfully for us, yeah. Long may it continue. We need a couple of bursts.
Yeah, yeah, a couple of long ones. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it took him long enough, but you know, finally he's arrived, and I'm glad.
So 8 out of 10 for Cunha.
Yeah,
Uh, Brandon Bumo, probably a quite enough day for him in front of goal.
yeah,
But
yeah. A bit of a quiet day for him. Yeah,
happy to let others take the glory today.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But
but
that's what it's all about. We can't just have one man that we're reliant on every week, you know? I like when things are spread out.
yeah, definitely. You don't want to be relying on one man. I think
Yeah.
I noticed that he was being double marked Mbeumo today as
Mhm.
well, and the what Sander Berger was giving Bruno a lot of attention. He's a big
Mm.
physical unit, that guy.
Mhm.
Mm, Um, so yeah, they were trying to prevent. Seeing Bruno obviously as a what he's everything goes through Bruno Fernandes. They were trying you know to keep tabs on him, but obviously it didn't work because he had 2 assists. But I know there was a lot of focus on Mbeumo I could see as well, particularly when he was picking the ball up in wide areas. His touch let him down for an opportunity. I think it was in the first half, and he wanted a penalty, but it wasn't the foul. I have to be honest. So yeah, probably a 6 out of 10 for Brian today, but very very happy with him overall. And so the substitutes had a impact on the game one way or another.
Mhm.
uh, so Ugarte was very, very poor for that Gavin goal. Um, and as I said earlier, he didn't even manage to take a yellow card when we needed him to very late in the game. So another disappointing im- impact or lack thereof from Manuel Ugarte. So I'll be a 4 out of 10 for me. Mazrahi, very come on very late for Dallo. Can't give him a rating there. And
Yeah.
Lenny Yarrow, I completely missed that substitution. If I'm honest, I didn't even know that happened.
he
To
was
be
he
honest,
was only he was only on for a few minutes. I think he come on with about 3 minutes to go,
yeah,
three, 4 minutes to go.
90
Yeah,
plus
yeah,
six. Yeah, we ended up
yeah.
playing 12 minutes of added time.
Mhm,
It felt like the referee was never going to end the game. I was
mhm.
starting to break out in cold sweats. Um, yeah, I have to be honest, I didn't even notice that substitution. uh, so and Sesko he came on after 74, and he had obviously a match
A
winning impact
massive impact. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there.
He almost scored immediately when he came on.
Yeah, that would have been even better if he did
Yeah,
that, and that would have
nah,
been game set and match if we
yeah,
went 3-0
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah. No, but the way we did it at that finish, oh, it was deserving of being a match winner.
Yeah, so Sesko gets an 8 for his impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the highest score I've ever given to a substitute was probably
Hmm.
McTominay against Brentford when he gave him a 9 for
Mm.
those 2 goals that he got in
Yeah,
stoppage
yeah.
time. Yeah. And yeah, I was just talking with Jerry last week about doing substitute appearances and what rating would they've got. Imagine Solskjaer against Nottingham Forest in
Oh,
1989.
mate. Yeah,
He would have got a 10 out of 10 for that
yeah.
substitute performance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Insane stuff. Yeah.
And Carrick delivering the goods again. Um, Now last week I think we gave him a 9. On Nigel's feedback was 3 goals away from home against the league leaders. It was a
Yeah.
10 out of 10 for me, is what he said.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but today I would go for an 8. It wasn't
Yeah.
perfect today,
Nah,
but
it
we got
wasn't.
got the result. And that's the most
Yeah,
important thing.
that's what matters. And obviously these kind of comebacks, like they build character, you know. It's like last season against Leon. Mentality wise, like it makes you strong when you know that you don't give up and you can come back in that way. But in future we can't make a habit of this. You can't give away silly goals because this is how quickly you can be punished in this league.
Yeah, but to be fair, Fulham, at the start of the day, were 7th in the league. Not just that, they're also one of the form teams in the league as well. You might
Yeah.
have seen during the game the graphic came up on the bottom left of the screen saying
Hmm.
last 8 matches in the Premier League, Arsenal top of the form table, Fulham
Yeah.
second. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the kind of
The
form
danger
they're in.
man for me that all eyes were on Harry Wilson for me before the game. But then as the game went on, Chukwueze was causing a few problems.
Yeah, he certainly was. I was worried anytime Harry Wilson had a free kick,
Yeah.
um, but thankfully we dealt with those. Either they
Hmm.
hit the wall. Although they did have a goal ruled out for offside from a
Yeah.
rebound from a free kick, very very marginal decision. But we had three of those go against us against City in one game.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm tell you what, I'll take them whenever they go for us. Those
Definitely.
marginal
And
offside
how
calls.
jammy was it as well that the ball had to take that deflection and that bounce and made it to their player, just leaving him
Yeah,
unmarked against our keeper. Crazy.
yeah, it was very fortunate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I'm sure Marco Silva was whinging after the game as he always does.
Mm.
He's one of the
Hmm.
biggest whingers I've ever come across, and
Yeah,
he's hard to listen to at times. He's been red carded at Old Trafford before. He got a yellow today. I thought
yeah.
I was thinking to myself, if they disallow this goal, he's going to get a second yellow. Marco Silva,
Hmm.
he's going to be off and into the stands like Arsene Wenger that time.
Yeah. Oh, the
Um,
way he was celebrating the equalizer as well, he must have been gutted at full time.
yeah, and whenever Sesko scored, the camera panned to
Yeah.
Kevin, and he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
absolutely disconsolate, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, um, yeah. Wasn't quite as satisfying as Ryan Cherky's face when we came back
Hmm.
against Leon after he had been
Yeah,
shaking his testicles at the crowd.
yeah. Oh,
But
I'll have to catch the highlights later on. Yeah, I want to see his reaction when Tottenham came back.
yeah, yeah. He was saying that he wanted to play United at Old Trafford and beat them and
Yeah.
kill Manchester United, but you didn't do
Hmm.
that a few weeks ago, did you, Ryan?
Nope.
You didn't do it, did you?
Nope.
So you're going to have to wait on that one. So we shall wrap it up there for today. We're just on the hour mark, which is a new record for me and Brush.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Please, everybody, smash a like on the video if you're watching on YouTube. Get subscribing to the podcast, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or watching on YouTube, and get more of your comments in. And really appreciate the contributions in the comments today. And I shall see you again next time then, Brushy.
Yeah, definitely. Take care.
All right. See you later.